Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were discussing the confirmation hearings that are going on right now with Trump's pick for budget director, Mick+Mulvaney. Now, for those of you who don't know, Mick+Mulvaney is a congressman from South Carolina, and this guy is one of these um, deficit hawk ideologues. I don't even think it's right to call him an ideologue, because an ideologue, you have to have an ideology, right? It's one thing to have an ideology. It's another thing to just be completely and utterly ignorant. And this guy was very adamant about his position that entitlements are going to have to be cut. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those things are going to have to be cut. And all this is based on ignorance. It's based on a belief that the government's going to run out of money, which is preposterous. And it was even something that was explained to Paul Ryan. And I spoke about this in many other previous videos that I did. And I even put up the link for it back in 2005 when Paul Ryan, the current Speaker of the House, when he was a congressman, he asked then Fed Chief Alan Greenspan, would going to a system of private retirement accounts be the answer for solvency for Social Security and entitlements? And to which Greenspan said, there is no issue of solvency because the government can create as much money as it wants and pay it to whomever it wants. The only question is, will there be enough of the real assets for that income to purchase? In other words, real assets meaning, are there going to be enough, hospitals and hospital beds and medicine and, housing and food and maybe leisure time, who knows, for seniors to consume with the money that the government could basically print. And you could see that it went right over Ryan's head. I mean, you can't run out of dollars. The government can never run out of dollars. So this whole argument about, Social Security has to be cut or entitlements have to be cut, that is steeped in a broad ignorance about the fact that a sovereign currency issuing nation like the United States could spend whatever amount it wants. It's not constrained in any way. Now, would there be inflation as a result of that? That could be an argument, and that's the real argument that we should be having, and nobody has proven it, that necessarily would happen. But that's the real argument. It's not whether or not we can't print the dollars to send the checks out to seniors, okay? But anyway, I used to care about all this stuff. Let me tell you something. I used to care. Before I got into this teaching and coaching people, I was seriously out there spreading the word about MMT, trying to educate people, regular people, not just people who want to trade. I mean, regular people who I try to explain to them, this is not the way it is. This is very, very deep-seated ignorance. And I was out there working all the time trying to explain this to people. And then, eventually it became pretty clear to me that people just don't want to learn this stuff. Some of you do from a trading context, and some of you also do from just an intellectual and personal perspective. But you are very, very rare. Let me tell you, the vast majority of Americans, they don't want to understand this stuff, or they're too stupid to understand this. Look, let's face it, this stuff is not hard, not difficult to understand. They don't want to. So you know what? When I hear things like, the majority of Americans want something like a balanced budget amendment, they want the government to balance its budget, they want it to stop spending. When this broad ignorance held by the public, it just has become so obvious that I stopped caring. Like, if that's what look, I'm not going to be affected. As a matter of fact, it would be a godsend to me if they cut all that stuff. I mean, cut it to the bone. If we went into massive austerity, European style, I would make so much money. I would own so many amazing assets on the cheap that would be liquidated. So right now, My attitude is I don't care anymore. I care about you people who have come to me who want to learn how to trade, and I'm more than happy to explain these concepts to you and weave that into an applied approach where we make money, which all of my people are making money, the ones that are serious about it. But for the rest of the country, if that's what they believe, and I used to get so upset about this and so angry and so, wanting to fight against, but I cannot educate 300 million people, nor do I really care to. I'd much prefer at this point that we do the full-blown austerity. We cut the Social Security. I'm serious, because if you want to stay stupid, stupidity deserves the consequences of your beliefs. That's my feeling. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to make a lot of money. And the people who are with me here who understand this stuff, you're going to make a lot of money too, and we're going to all retire very, very wealthy. But if the rest of the population wants to believe in this stuff, then my feeling is go ahead and believe it. My feeling is continue to support people. And by the way, I like Trump, and it might end up that Trump doesn't even pay attention to this guy. This guy might end up to be the next David Stockman. Remember, he was Reagan's budget director, and he kept whining and crying and complaining about budget deficits until Reagan fired the guy, And he's still talking about that crap, which has no bearing or no relevance on anything. Read my piece I wrote. I wrote a couple of pieces about David Stockman on my blog, Mike Norman Economics. If you go to Mike Norman Economics and you just type in David Stockman, Stockman, read the run-ins I had with that guy at Fox News when I was working there, and read how stupid the guy is, okay? Now, Reagan, if there was one, stroke of genius that this guy ever did, because a lot of people said, Reagan wasn't that smart. In the case of getting rid of David Stockman, Reagan was smart, okay? So it could end up to be, and it likely will end up to be the same way with Trump, that he's either going to ignore this Mulvaney guy or he's going to get rid of him because, Trump likes to spend. He's a builder. He likes to build. He likes to spend, So it might not happen. It might stay the way it is, which is great for seniors. But you want to know something? I don't care anymore. If it goes the other way, if they cut Social Security, if they cut Medicare, if they cut Medicaid, if they slash and burn everything, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact, I would love that because I would make a ton of money and I would retire super wealthy because I'll own like amazing assets that'll be sold on the cheap. And so will people here who are following me. So yeah, that's how I feel. If people want to be stupid, if they want to remain stupid, then you gotta pay the piper at some point. You gotta suffer the consequences. I mean, ignorance does not reward you. It just doesn't. Ignorance does not reward you. If you get any kind of a reward, it's not the reward that you think you're gonna get. It's the booby prize. All right. So my attitude, I don't care. Bring it on. I'll be fine.